Sunday, November 26, 2017, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. So I usually don't buy The Economist. First, because years ago I used to buy it and I didn't really read much of it and I never finished reading it. I think a lot of it is quite boring, to tell you the truth. And also for, a weekly magazine, £5, I think is steep. And of course, it's owned by the Rothschilds, The Economist magazine. They have some interesting articles in there, but this caught my attention. The case for taxing death, and they've got the skull, they've got the all-seeing eye, just one eye, the eye of, the pyramid, and it says in inheritance we trust. And basically it's the New World Order making a case, to tax families, making a case that the state knows better what to do than the individual. I have to say their articles are usually very balanced. They give reasons why, people don't like inheritance tax, why it's unfair. And they also give reasons, pro inheritance tax. But in the end, they say that inheritance tax, the revenues from inheritance tax have gone down and that it needs to be raised up again. And basically, one of the reasons they give is that it could disrupt businesses. Families have to sell off businesses when the father or, the head of the family dies, and it breaks up businesses. And then their suggestion is that the taxman should devise ways to take the inheritance gradually. I just think it's badly thought out. I personally think all taxation, as Frederick Bastiat says, is legal plunder or theft. Yes, we might argue there's a lot of inequality right now. The rich are benefiting a lot from this financial system. We've got the monetary system, but the system in of itself is already a centralized system controlled by the government, which actually helps the elite. So it's not even about, we don't have a free market system. We have like a, like oligopoly, not an oligopoly. We've got like a system where the very rich get very rich and the majority don't. It's just like communism. There's an elite that does well, and we've got corporate fascism. So in an ideal world, I would say, is we'd have less government, we'd have sound money. Of course, there would be rich people who would be richer than, the majority. There's always rich people. But right now, it's very unequal. But it's, taxing people is not going to make it fairer. It's the monetary system that there's something wrong with it. And they even argue that it shouldn't be a problem because when you die, you can't spend, your wealth. But it does kill incentive. If you're going to have to leave, over 50% of your wealth, if you're going to have to leave it to the state, are you really going to try hard to build something for your family? No, it's not going to incentivize you while you're living. And why should someone that builds a nest egg, give it away to a stranger? I'd, rather leave it to family than to the state. The state always steals people's wealth through inflation, through taxation. So, but, the Rothschilds, of course, they've been, probably the richest family for the last 200 years. So they got all the, the legal help. They have all the trusts in place. All the offshore companies in Switzerland or, offshore havens to protect their wealth, they're okay. But the people who will suffer are the people more in the middle, in the middle class, upper middle class. The very wealthy, they will always find the right accountant, the right lawyer to avoid, all the taxes. Not evade, but avoid. They'll do it legally, but they can't afford to pay hundreds of thousands of legal fees every year. But someone who's trying to build, from a small nest egg can't do that. So I found that interesting, because the New World Order, they don't want people to have ownership. They don't want families to, flourish. They don't want you to be able to leave, your estate to your sons or daughters. They want the state to take over it, and they want everyone enslaved, except for the Rothschilds, of course, and the Soros of the world, and all the, the very wealthy. They can get away with it. But if you're, run of the mill, if you're an average earner or middle class, upper middle class, they want to screw you. They want the state to be in charge of everything. So that's what I wanted to talk about, The Economist. So I bought the magazine to read about it. I mean, I wasn't surprised, but I just thought I'd show it to you. What else is going on? Well, I guess Bitcoin is continuing to go higher. We're trading just around $9,000, so quite a huge move. Ethereum has done well. It broke through that 400 level. It's now 463. So it looks like Ethereum could continue as well. We'll have to see how the markets open tomorrow morning in the, overnight in Asia and then early on in Europe. Gold and silver still languishing. Even though gold and silver are up on the year on most currencies, compared to the cryptocurrencies, it doesn't feel good. But I think the precious metals will have their day. Another thing I wanted to mention is the this new app called Glint. Where you can basically have access to LBMA stored gold in private vaults. And the spread, I was listening to the interview, Ben Davies, who started this, co-founded Glint. He runs a gold hedge fund, and he said that the price will be the interbank offered rate. So if gold is like 1290 bid at 1290.50 offered, you're going to be paying 1290.50 plus 0.5%. I think it's pretty good. 0.5% above spot is pretty good, and you'll be able to keep different currencies. British pound balance, gold balance, and you won't have to convert the gold into pounds to spend it. You can spend the gold directly, and they will convert it automatically to the local currency. Right now, it's only started in the UK. I've registered, but I think they've had a lot of demand. There's like 3,000 people ahead of me in the queue. They need to do a electronic KYC or know your client. They are regulated. I know ideally gold, I know it's something that you want to hold physically with no counterparty risk, but I can't see why you can't hold a bit of it through this Glint app. It actually allows you to use gold as money. The only question I have is about the capital gains. If you buy a lot of gold and let's say it goes up a lot, the tax, the capital gains tax is different everywhere. In the UK, you've got like an allowance of up to £11,100 every tax year. So, if you put 10,000 pounds in and gold doubles in 6 months, you're still okay because you've made 10,000. Your allowance is 11,000. But if you really want to store a big amount of gold, you need to check that. That's the only thing I would say. So that's what I wanted to talk about. The New World Order. they're fighting still. The Economist, the mouthpiece of the Rothschild family, saying that, that families are not important and that the state should be in charge. You should leave your wealth to the state. The other point I'd make is that you're already, the wealth that you're able to save is already being taxed. So how fair is that? So if you want to have a more fair and equal and egalitarian society, I would suggest you have small government, sound money, and the rule of law. That would be more helpful, I would say. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, share it, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and you can also follow me on Twitter and on steemit.com. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.